15, we are finally talking about a vertical stretch. And remember, when A is greater than 1, it's going to be a vertical stretch. So what we're going to do is we're going to take f of x, and I didn't write f of x on here, so please title that. That's really going to help you. And what we're going to do is we're going to vertically stretch this graph. So if you notice that 2 right there, we're just going to multiply the y values by a 2. And that's it. We're going to leave the x values alone. So this ordered pair right here, that's at a -1, -2. We're just basically multiplying the y values by 2. We're doubling them. So the -1 stays the same, but that -2 times 2 is -4. So the first dot on g of x is going to be at the -4. And then our next dot is right here. Right now it's at 1, 2. We're going to double the 2. So now it's going to be at 1, 4. So my shape of the n is getting stretched out. This ordered pair at 3, -2 is going to turn into 3, -4. Because remember, all the y values are doubled. So the range gets expanded out. So please draw your n, and please label it g of x. So y'all, what happened to the graph? What's one word that we could write? Perfect. Let's write stretch. And remember, we didn't do anything to the domain. We left the domain alone. So the domain is going to be the same as f of x, which means it starts at the -1 to the +5. Bless you. But your range totally changed. It doesn't start at the -1 now. It's lower. It starts at the -4. And this time it stops at the +4. And don't forget the brackets for the closed dots. So, did the domain change? No. I'm just writing n. Did the range change? Yes. Y'all, how did the range change? It stretched. What did we multiply the y values by? Let's just write that it multiplied by 2. So, that's a stretch. It gets stretched out thin. Now let's take a look at what a compression is. Y'all, it's just a fraction. Less than 1. But look, what if you had something like this?
That's more than 1.
Right, don't let me trick you. That's a teacher trick. Even though it's a fraction, that's 1.5. So that's going to be a vertical stretch. Don't let me trick you on that. So remember, it has to be less than 1. That's the deal right there. All right. So guys, all we're going to do is we're going to multiply the y values again. But this time we're multiplying them by 1/2. So we're slicing all the y values in half. So this time, this ordered pair of -1, -2. Y'all, what's half of -2?
-1.
Yeah. So just put a dot on the -1. Same for this value right here. This is a 1, 2. Cut the 2 in half. This ordered pair is 3, -2. Cut the -2 in half. And then your last ordered pair is going to be +5, 1. Connect your n. It's all flattened out now. It's almost kind of hard to see. That's why it's really a good idea to use colors on your notes. And then, y'all, how did the graph change? Let's use that fancy word that starts with a C. Compress. Yeah, please write compress. Y'all, I'm so sorry. The AC is broken. It's been broken all day. It's really hot. And again, we didn't do anything with the domain. Hold on, let me catch up with y'all. Let me write compressed. And then the domain is exactly the same, -1 to +5. But y'all, look, your range doesn't start until the -1, and it stops at the +1. So, did the domain change? No. Did the range change? Yes. Y'all, what do we multiply by?
1/2.
1/2. Good. Start with, can you state the transformations on the upper half of the page? It says a letter A next to it. That's where we're at right there. All right, so now that you can just put it down. So now that you know everything, it's time to start knocking this stuff out. So on this right here, right after the equal sign, what is the first thing you see? Just the symbol. What symbol is that? It's negative. Just the symbol. Just negative. What does negative tell you guys? Vertical reflection. So that's one transformation. Then you have the 2. What does the 2 mean? Vertical stretch. So you need to write a bullet, or I'm doing it by bullets. You can organize it however you want. We know it's a vertical reflection because remember we had that negative sign. We know it's a vertical stretch because you had that 2 there. And then, do you have an H value? Absolutely. I know there's a H value because X is confined in a group. What is the H value for that?
+1.
Say what?
+1.
It is a +1. However, Hunter, I'm going to start calling on you guys. And you're first. I'm so sorry. Hunter, which direction will you go with that +1? To the right or to the left? Perfect. So guys, let's write left 1 unit. And then, last but not least, we got to talk about that -3. So for that -3, Michael, for that -3, would the graph shift up or down? Yes. So let's write down 3 units. By the way, this is level 1. So when you see this on Tuesday, this should be giving me problems. Yeah. All right. This next part down here, y'all, this is actually level 3. We're going to talk about this. Absolutely. But not yet. So remember, oh, the air just kicked on. So remember, today's flip around in your packet day. Y'all go back to page 14. Back to page 14. So page 14, the bottom, this is really kind of like a level 2 problem. So this is totally fair game. They're not easy, but they're not hard either. So what we're going to do is we're going to write these equations. And I am going to do number 5. And I'm going to do number 7 with you. And you are going to do 6 and 8 at your table. So let me show you number 5. So what we're going to do, number 5 says a square root function, y equals the square root of x, shifted horizontally 2 units to the right and vertically 5 units up. That's h and k. So 2 units to the left, that's h. By the way, h is always what? Read my mind. What is h always? What did I ask you to write down? What did I put it? What is it? Starts with a O. Opposite. You got to remember that. And then this right here, vertical shift of 8 units up, that's your K. So back to this H value, 2 units to the left. If that's 2 units to the left, y'all, is that a +2 that I write or a -2? Opposite. It's opposite, so it's going to be a +2. Good. Vertical shift. The K value, you just take the K value for what it is. If it's 8 units up, that's a positive move. So write a positive 8. Oh, oops, I read the wrong one. I guess I'm doing number 6 with you. All right, so to put this all together, we're going to write y equals, because that's what it started with. And then remember, guys, if you have an h value, you have to constrict it. It has to be bound to the x. And the only way that you can bind it to the x is you have to put it with a parenthesis. So I'm going to open parentheses. I'm going to write the x. And then that 2 is positive, so I'm writing plus 2. Don't forget to go back and put the exponent. And then you're going to put your plus 8 at the end. Any questions on number 6? Let me go back and do number 5. I did the wrong problem, so I'm going to do another one with you. All right, so number 5 says horizontally 2 units to the right and vertically 5 units up. So if it went 2 places to the right, what's the h value?
Opposite.
Negative, opposite. Y'all need to write it negative too. The K value. Danny, do you know the K value?
5.
Perfect. And let's leave it positive 5. All right, here we go. Y equals. All right, so I'm going to draw this square root symbol, but I'm drawing a long square root symbol because x isn't the only thing under there. You have an h value. Remember, h values have to be connected with x's. They're never separate. So this is going to be x minus 2. And then scoot way out past the square root symbol, then write your plus 5. Mm-hmm. All right, here we go with the last one. Did you scan the pass? Did you scan and take? Scan and take when you go. All right, for the next one, guys. We have a cubic function of y equals x to the third. Y'all, if you see vertical reflection, that's not a number. That's a symbol. What symbol means vertical reflection? Negative. Mm-hmm. So draw a negative symbol to remind yourself. And then a vertical shift of 6 units up. That's just plus 6. For which value? Which value is this? There you go. All right. So this time we're going to write y equals. And then what's the first thing I'm drawing after that equal sign?
Negative.
Good job. It's the negative. So negative x to the third. Wait. Is there a h value on number 7? Then y'all don't need parentheses or anything. So negative x to the third, and then plus 6. Please knock out 8 real quick. Go ahead and do 8 super fast. See if you can do it. The way that we do these problems is you got to remember transformations already happened. So for the original, there's already some stuff going on here. Remember, what does negative mean? Yeah, so it's already been flipped upside down, and then that's a K value. This graph is already how many places above the origin? Yeah, all right. Then we're taking this and we're changing it again. So you got to be careful on that. So we draw some tables in here. You're going to draw a lot of tables, especially in Module 2, so just get comfortable with it. We're going to separate the A value. We're going to separate the sideways movement, or the H. Then we're going to separate the up and down movement, also known as the K. And we're going to look at the same thing over here. Then we're just going to compare the tables. So back over here on the original, you have a negative A value. And remember, that's a vertical reflection. I'm going to write VR for vertical reflection. And then, y'all, is your X in parentheses? Is your X in any group at all? You see some absolute value bars there. You see a square root symbol there? No. So there's not an H. So the H is nothing. What number means nothing?
0.
You have to write that. Right? H equals 0. And we already talked about how your K value is that plus 5. All right, let's go take a look over here. So when I look at the new graph, the first thing I see is a vertical reflection. Did I already have a vertical reflection? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right, so that's not new. But there's a number after it. That's a 1/4. So is that a vertical stretch or a vertical compression?
Compression.
Write VC for vertical compression. And I'm putting a bubble around that because that's new. That's going to be part of my final answer. And then over here, do you have H in parentheses? I'm sorry, do you have X in parentheses? No. So your H value stays 0. But that K changed. What is the K? -2. All right, so if it says to state the transformations, you have two. The first one that you have is you now have a vertical compression, because remember that 1/4 wasn't there. Then you have a vertical shift of, and if you already know it, cool, but just hang on, wait for the rest of us. So for this vertical shift, remember guys, this graph was 5 places above the origin because it's plus 5. And then it dropped 2 places below the origin. Y'all, what's that total move from a positive 5 to a negative 2? 7. Yeah, that's what you mean, right? This had a vertical shift of 7 units down. I kind of ran out of room, so I'm going to write that arrow. You have to let me know it goes down. You have to let me know by how many. Almost done, y'all. Very last problem of the day. So I'm going to kind of draw a table, see what's going on here for both of these equations. Remember A, sideways movement, up and down movement. A, sideways movement, up and down movement. So on this first graph, right after the equal sign, there's nothing. So there's not an A value. There's no vertical reflection or anything like that. What does H equal? You better tell me the opposite. -2. And what's your K value? Mm-hmm. Over here on the flip side, for G of X, you got a vertical, what is that called?
Stretch.
Right, VS for a vertical stretch. What's your H value now? What's your K value?
0.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay. So for this right here, you are going to have a first transformation, vertical stretch. Second transformation, horizontal. Y'all, you were at a -2 and you went to the +3. How many places is that?
5.
To the right or to the left?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Horizontal 5 units to right. To the right. You also have a vertical shift. It is a vertical shift of how many units?
4.
Up or down?
Up.
That's it. Y'all don't forget. Hold on, let me have it.